So what gives? Why do some of us see 11:11 on the clock, 1:11, 2:22? We see red cars wherever we're going. We see cardinals every day when we go outside of our house flying around. We see the same word all the time on the billboards. And so what gives? Why do we see these synchronistic type things or experience things that, okay, somebody might pass off as mere coincidence, but it keeps happening on a weekly, daily basis? And we're like, oh, okay, maybe there's some meaning, or is God trying to communicate with me? Is it a bad omen? Am I going to die? So in this video, I'm going to talk about synchronicity, what it is, why we experience it, and how we can actually use it to enhance our lives and actually create it more often, more frequently for us. So sit back, and enjoy the synchronicity of all of this. What's up, guys? I'm Jen Palco, and today I'm going to talk about synchronicity. All right, so before I get into it, let me just say, if you like the content here, please go check out some of my other videos, like, subscribe. I would most appreciate it. I put out a daily video every single morning, so if you'd like this content and want more, then subscribe below. All right, so let's get into it. Synchronicity. Why do we experience these things in our lives that seem like these very paranormal, occult, kind of esoteric, I don't know, just very, very odd things that happen that seem very peculiar to us? We might see the same numbers or the same animal, or we're reading a book and we're reading a word, and as we're reading that word, our significant other says that word to us, or we are thinking of somebody and then we end up bumping into them later in the day. Okay, these are synchronistic events that happen in our lives, and we don't quite know why. So for some of us, we might say it's God speaking to us. For others, it might be a bad omen. For other people, it's just, it is what it is, coincidence, whatever. So I'm going to explain why synchronicity can help enhance our lives, okay, and what it is. So you have people like Carl Jung, who studied synchronicity back in the day, who said that synchronistic events are mere cause and effect, mere coincidence. All right, and then you have other people who study synchronicity, and they find that it's actually a projection of our own internal thoughts, almost like a mirror. Okay, what we're thinking about on a subconscious level, we're actually mirroring back to us as these synchronistic events. All right, so we have three bodies. I know it seems weird, but we have three bodies. We have, of course, our physical body, which is the body we all know and love here in our physical realm. But we also have something called the astral emotional body and the mental body. And these two bodies are on different dimensions of ourselves. So when we experience some sort of synchronicity in our lives, it's almost like we're crossing paths with these other dimensions of ourselves. Okay, and these two other bodies, they actually create something called thought forms. So when we experience an event or something in our lives, we have an emotion from it, which then creates a feeling, and then our brain, we interpret what we're feeling. Okay, we give meaning to it. So in these brief moments, these thought forms are created, and they're actual objects. They're actual objects that are kind of like solidified energy. All right, and the more we persistently have these thought forms, the more synchronistic events we actually experience in our lives. So it's very interesting to think beyond just this physical meat suit we're in, right? We have other energy fields around us. We have other dimensions of ourselves. And when we experience synchronicity, it's almost like we're tapping into another dimension, another side of ourselves. Okay, almost like a parallel world, another version. So if these synchronistic events come from our own internal processes, subconscious thoughts, then what's the point? Why bother with them, right? So the thing I want to say is that synchronicity can really help you and comfort you in times when you need comfort. So I'll give you an example. In my own life recently, my grandmother passed away the past year. And about a month ago, I was at work in the morning, and out of nowhere, I was like, oh, it's my grandmother's birthday today. I totally forgot it was her birthday. So I was thinking about her a lot that morning, constantly just thinking about her. And then that same day on my lunch break, I'm sitting in my car drinking a cup of coffee, and I look out the front windshield, and what do I see? I see a car, and the license plate says, "Hi, Jen." It says, "Hi, Jen." To me, I took that as almost like my grandmother speaking to me. That gave me such a great feeling of knowing that, oh, she's here, you know. I was thinking about her this morning, and that's so weird that, you know, I got that. But I took it as a sign, as a positive thing, right? That she was speaking to me, that she was there looking over me. So this is how we can use synchronistic events in our lives. So if you give meaning to something or a symbol that creates some sort of feeling in you that lets you feel like you are not just this individual, but you're part of this larger universe, then that's huge. That's huge. So for a lot of people, they will have so they'll see 111, for example, and it will create an emotion or feeling in them that expands their consciousness a little bit. So in a sense, that is where it can really, really help you and keep you on the right path. For a lot of people, they see something of a synchronistic nature, and to them, it's like, okay, I'm on the right path. This is reinforcing or reconfirming that I'm on the right path in my life. So that's where it's a really good sign. For a lot of people, they can use it as the opposite too. I've used it both ways, okay? I've used it, you know, where I feel like it's a positive, but I've also used it where it's almost like a wake-up call, okay? So for a lot of people, you might see a number, 111, again, we'll use that example, and you had been in a really low state right before you saw that number, and it kind of woke you up, it jolted you. It made you think, oh, okay, that's my reminder from the universe that I need to be present and I need to get out of this bad funk that I'm in. So you can use it either way. It's going to help you out. You can use it as positive reinforcement, or you can use it as almost like a wake-up call for yourself. All right, and both ways can really, really help you. So don't think just because we create our own synchronistic events that we shouldn't use them to our own benefit. Because we have a lot of stuff that's coming from our subconscious, unconscious level that we don't even realize. I mean, 95% of our thoughts during the day are unconscious. So that leaves only 5% of us as conscious throughout the day. So think about how huge that is and how much it can tell you about yourself. The more you pay attention to things like synchronicity, if you write them down and you really pay attention to what you were feeling before, during, and after you experience one of these things, it can tell you a lot about yourself, about what you're feeling, and it can help you. In the long run, it can actually help you enhance your life. How can you make synchronistic events happen more often? The first thing is to write them down. So if something happens, like say what happened with my grandmother and the license plate that said, "Hi, Jen," I would want to write down, pay attention to how I felt before it happened, during, it and afterwards. Okay, so how I felt before, during, and after the synchronistic event. Okay, the more you write it down, the more you put attention on those types of things, the more your brain will search for the patterns and you'll experience more of it. The second thing is to expect that synchronicity is just going to happen in your life. It's going to happen more often. Actually purposely look for it in your life, okay? And this is going to, again, put more attention, put more meaning on those things for you. And the end result will be you will start experiencing them more. You'll start seeing those numbers more. You'll start seeing that animal more, or whatever it is for you. So pay attention and purposely really try to seek out what you're looking for. And the third thing is to learn to choose your emotional states. Choose your emotional states rather than being driven by your emotional state. Okay, so choose instead of it choosing you. And what you'll find is you have more control, A, and B, you will start to experience more of what you want in your life. If you're looking for something, you're putting your attention on something, that is going to reflect back to you. So the last thing I wanted to mention about synchronicity and experiencing synchronicity is use it wisely. Because if you're not careful, you can start thinking that everything around you is a synchronistic event, and you start giving this big, huge meaning to every little thing that happens, and then it's going to start to actually hinder your ability to function in life or communicate with other people. So use synchronicity and actually use it as more of have fun with it. That's the great thing about it. You can have fun with it, especially when your friends and your family experience the same thing as you do. You can have fun with it, but don't let it hinder your ability to function as a human being in this physical realm, because you can become obsessed with it. People can become obsessed with it and think that every little thing is a synchronistic event. So you don't want to get to that level where it becomes this obsessive thing, okay, that you're always thinking about. Oh, this must mean this or that must mean that. No, just try to have fun with it, play around with it, notice it, pay attention to it, give it the meaning that you want to give it meaning to help enhance your life, but you never want it to hinder anything about your ability to function as a human being or communicate with other people. So that's huge. All right, so that's it for today. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have experienced synchronicity, I'd love to hear what your synchronistic events have been, because everybody's are different, whether they have certain events, situations that happen, whether they see a particular number or a certain animal in their lives every day. I find it so interesting. So I'd love to hear any kind of events you might have experienced or are experiencing in your life. And that's it for me today, guys. So I'll see you on the next video. Okay, peace.